Hello, Tungsten Miner here. I've been working some more on the house here, and I have finished, at least for an initial take, on the smaller wing of the house here. So I've made a door to the side of the stairwell. I've got a little patio area. Inside I chose soapstone for the internal walls, and I've filled out all the floors and all the rooms. Oh, it looks like I have some friends in here. I obviously have not gotten around to putting in those torches. Which I really ought to do, because I can hear a skeleton rattling around somewhere. So yeah, those are all the internal rooms here. As I was laying things out, I decided to make a small change to how things work, so that this room at the end here is the small room, and then I've got two larger rooms. This one here, which is not quite as wide, and then the one down at the end of the hall, which is the full width of the house. So I think what will happen is I'll have the chemical apparatus to produce the biomass and biofuel and ethanol and all that kind of stuff in here, with the pipes going down into the floor to come over to the next room. And this will be the engine room, where all the various, whatever it is I come up with to burn the ethanol to produce power. And then the power will go off into a storage room here. And of course, with fairly compact energy cells, I don't need a lot of storage. So I'll wind up just using the smaller room for the smaller requirement. And then underneath the flooring here, I'll have energy conduit going off into the rest of the house. And then these two rooms here, I haven't really decided what's going to happen with these ones. The other thing I wanted to point out is I'll probably be doing more of these, but this kind of door frame here. So what's going on is I've got not blue schist covers, of course, because we can clearly see that that's as wide as the full brick. But I've also got a full meter width in here and a different pattern over here. So the way I did that is I took some of these covers, and I think I'll do it with blue glass to just show how that works a bit more. Pop that down, and then if you aim at the center, you can see how since it's the same material, it's going to fill that in a bit, and a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, until I can fill up all but one space in that meter block. And if I grab a different color or a different material, I can drop that there. And now I've got a white panel glass with 7 covers of blue panel glass on the side there, which makes up a full meter width block, but with a different pattern. So that's what I did with the walls here. So that's the same thing with blue schist and diorite. Same thing there, so that I get this ceiling. This is a diorite strip, and this is a diorite corner to make a kind of little door frame area. These are the same kinds of stairs I used before. I decided to make the stairwell mostly the same. And then coming out here, I've just got this little hut almost that takes up the area on the roof. And then the rest of the roof is all completed. I will probably put a door here at some point. I did not put the same kind of panels and whatnot on this side because it made getting past it in this narrow space really kind of a pain in the neck. Yeah, and then the nice thing is when you break this, some of the pieces will have kind of stayed glued together. So the half slab and then the panel stayed glued and then the other cover came off. So you get your pieces back again more or less. So I'm going to now I haven't decided. Am I going to add some more door frames? I'll want to do that eventually. Am I going to add some light? I can hear my friend down there. That's not a bad idea. Or do I want to carry on and build out some more of the rest of this place? I haven't quite decided, but I'll be back in a few moments and you can see which one I chose to do. Okay, so as you can see, I've decided to get this big room straightened out before I proceed to other things. So I've used my filler to dig out the basement, and then I used it again to lay the walls and floors. In a smaller room, I may not have bothered to use the filler for that, but that's a lot of floor. So I've also been starting to fill in the sides and details, but you'll notice a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 and 3 windows, but I've got this extra nub in the middle. And if I were to shorten this room by 1 block, I'd have all sets of 3 windows. So I've decided to backtrack just a bit, hopefully just a bit. And I've got my filler set up here so that it's encompassing the final block, the end of the wall here, and I'll have to rebuild this little section of wall and carve it back a bit and then redo it. This is one of the many reasons why I try to do these small sections at a time until I've kind of worked out the size and arrangement of things, because if I had finished this whole wall, it would be a lot more distressing than having only finished half of it. So let's see. I've already got it plopped down here, so I'm going to set it to do not excavate and go back to clear. Now I need to give it some power, and we'll throw that right there. So now it's ready to go, and I'm going to hit excavate, and let's see what happens. I've never tried using the filler on microblocks before, so I'm not entirely sure what to expect, to be honest. Well, look at that. Did pretty much exactly what I would have hoped that it would do. Get all my microblocks back, knock them down pretty quickly, in fact. And I've got all of these extra things. So there we go. That worked actually about like I would hoped it would. So I'm going to have to remove this strip of floor because I'm going to carve that back and put in my andesite instead. I'm probably just going to leave this red granite here and cover it up with dirt. Maybe I'll just strip off that top layer so that it can be smooth dirt again. And get to work rebuilding the last little bit of this wall. And of course, shifting these windows down by 1 so I can fill in that spot there. And that way the room will have kind of an even symmetry and pattern to it. So, back to work. And I have got the walls put together. I've got the floor in. I've got the windows in. Nothing yet on this side. So the next part will be to put in the 2 floors and ceilings and whatnot. And that should get this room pretty much done. So, back to it. Okay, now I've got the floor in on the second story here. I've filled in this wall down here. Oops, and I've gotten this kind of border set up. I've had this corner meet and kind of made some decisions about how to blend things together in the 2 different parts so that this seems to come into the wall there, that overlaps over there. So this is a little tricky in that I had to cut my microblocks down a bit further so that I've got just a notch over here and a pillar there and a pillar there, so that things kind of intersect in this corner so that it looks like it's part of one continuous piece of diorite, but it's actually lots of little bits all together. Here I've got a slab because it's making up what's going to be the inner surface of the wall over here. So that's the same slab as over there. And then I've got just a diorite pillar in the side here so that, again, this looks like it's continuing all the way through. But in actual fact, it's only 1/4 of this meter wide piece right here. So that slab takes up 2 quarters, and this takes up the other quarter. On the inside here, I've got this hallway continuing a bit. Here I've got some soapstone. I ran out of soapstone, otherwise I'd have finished off everything all the way up to this corner here. And on the other side I've got the green schist slabs, because on the inside surfaces of this building, or at least this part of the building, I'm also using the green schist as the wall material. So in this case I decided I was going to have a difference of blue for the outside, the blue schist, and soapstone for the inside. And so I did things a little differently on this side. What else? Andesite all the way along so that that can form Remember, this is going to be an open room to the second story, so I've got the same kind of pattern across here to keep it consistent on the outside. And potentially what I might do is to make these so that I'm using the same green schist slabs for the wall up there, and then use the andesite pillar slabs on the opposite side so that it looks like this on the outside. And it'll be, to keep up appearances of how things look on the outside here without necessarily doing the same thing on the inside. Or what I may choose to do is just knock out this whole middle bit altogether and have this go straight up to the top so that you see the actual extent of the floor and the windows matching. I haven't quite decided what to do with that part yet, so I'll get back to that in a bit. What else has been going on? I think that's about it. I've got a little bit more of this connected here. And what I need to do next is get this room ready. I think I might do something different than the hickory wood plank slabs for the floor in here to make it a little bit more grand and interesting, like an entrance hall. So I'll think maybe of different patterns to use. Eventually what I might want to do in this whole place is, particularly for the bottom floor where I can do it more easily, use some of the forestry woodworking stuff to make interesting wood patterns. Because that allows you to combine various wood blocks together and make what look like kind of decorative wooden interlocking patterns all within the same 1 meter block. In any case, though, that's the progress so far. I still need to make some steps to get up to the side here. And in fact, I think I might actually do that with this stairwell here. This stairwell is going to need to make a couple of different stops. There's going to be the stop on the basement level down here. There's going to be the stop on the floor here. There's going to be a stop there. There's going to be a stop there, and possibly I'll have a door on both sides here. But I need to figure out if the actual stairwell can manage to leave both of those sides open and still make it so you can get from one floor to the other. If it can't, then I'll have some decisions to make about exactly how do I want that staircase to work. Do I want it to open up on this side or on this side? I'd originally been thinking over here, but now that I'm looking at this room, if I'm all the way at the far end of the room here, and I want to go upstairs, I need to go all the way back down to that door way down there, and then go back up the corridor to the staircase, which will be here. That's an awfully long way. So either I have this staircase facing over here, or maybe I make another staircase on that side, maybe something along the wall, maybe a spiral staircase going up the middle. I need to think about that some more, because that's a bit further to go to a staircase than I think I want, now that I'm actually looking at things. So I'm going to work on getting this foyer area all straightened out and getting the roof on this top room here. Talk to you in just a few minutes. I thought I might stop a moment as I'm filling in this roof and talk a little bit about how I work with these microblocks. Building something when you're so high up is a little bit tricky, and of course I've got my jetpack, so I could just drop right off and get back up, no problem. But of course you don't always have a jetpack, and especially early on in the game, if you're building something large, you have to have a thought about how you're going to build things high up without falling to your death. So one of the tricks that I use is, especially when placing microblocks, because they are a little bit fiddly, and if you're trying to get a lot of them in a row, it's very easy to very subtly change your position and wind up putting the block facing the wrong way. So what I'll tend to do is make these kind of strings of microblocks. And of course I'm cheating outrageously using my jetpack to show this to you. Let's see here. Find a good spot. Yeah, so here's a place in between. And I'll stand holding the shift key down so that I can back right up against the edge and not fall off. The shift key makes it so that you won't walk up off the edge of a block. And then I aim down until I get to the place where I want. And you can see I'm trying to get these on the bottom half of this block. So I'm going to aim down to the bottom half, and when I see that the block is in the right spot, right click to place it, and then walk backwards to the edge, and then look down and place it. And if I'm holding down my W and Shift keys, I'm going to slide back until I get into the right position. And so long as I don't move my mouse, I'll have maintained that aim on the right place. And so that I will, with every placement, be able to get the block where I want it. And it doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to stop pressing backwards to get your aim back in the right spot. So it's kind of a process of move backwards a ways, place a block, move backwards a ways, place a block. But holding down the Shift key and keeping your mouse aimed at the same spot means you can walk across these and go pretty fast. Now that I'm close enough, I've only got 2 meters between me and the next one, I can actually just reach over and poke it there. And again, keeping my aim fixed, I tap my slide over key, oops, and I just ran out of coupled rhyolites. Anyway, yeah, so I tap my D key to slide over by just a block's worth. And once you've practiced a bit, you get a sense of how to do that really quickly. So that I'm keeping my aim on that one little corner, that chunk of the block there that's going to keep things right. I can't just hold down the right click, because eventually I'm going to get into a situation like that where I wind up having a couple of blocks in a row that are the wrong orientation, and I just have to knock them off and do it again. So yeah, working with microblocks is a little bit tricky, especially for large stretches like this. But with a couple of techniques to adapt, you can make some pretty rapid progress. I've been working on the main area, and I've got pretty much everything enclosed now. So I've got the roof all the way up. I've got that wall developing. I've got what's going to be a walkway to go around the edge of this room while leaving the center of it open. The roof is complete in this area, and I've started filling in some of the internal walls. So I've got this room up here done. You can see out the back there, going down the staircase. I've got this lower room done here. Added another door to get outside, a little porch. Back in here, I've got the walls filled in from before, and you can see I've got it extended all the way up to the edges of this tower, which I will get to in the future. And yeah, so now I need to think about what do I want to do in this room to make that staircase I had in mind work. I kind of do want the walkway to wrap around so that I can get to a doorway I'll put over here and to the doorway over here. But of course, I want to be able to get to this room up here and have some kind of staircase that allows me to do that. So I need to think through exactly where that staircase is going to go and how it's going to work. At the moment, I'm thinking the door will be in the center here, but that might change by the time I've worked out where the rest of everything else is going to go. So I think that's going to be it for this video. For the next video, I'm going to finish enclosing this space, making this main room put together, get a doorway over there, get some stairs going, and yeah, just in general, try to make some more progress on the building itself. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to see more like this, and I will talk to you later.